My presentation follows on the panel this morning, which was very interesting, and I'm honored to be following three great startups with fantastic products who are showing us that we can all become entrepreneurs. The topic of my presentation is the Learn to Pitch program at Bahrain Polytechnic. Dr Philippe this morning, who was on the panel, discussed the fact that we've started our innovation center in September. So we feel like we're also a little bit a startup ourselves, and I'd like to talk to you about what we do. So the mission of the innovation center centers around nurturing the entrepreneurial mindset that was discussed this morning on the panel. The fact that universities are there to identify talent and nurture it. We want to encourage our students and our graduates to take risk and to act as multidisciplinary team. So our focus is very much around facilitating pre-incubation and supporting the early startups. And again, that's something that the panel this morning identified as missing in the ecosystem at the moment. So we have three main objectives to embed and grow entrepreneurship within the programs. We want to open our Entrepreneurship Academy to be able to teach entrepreneurship not just to our students, but also to the local community. But what I'm going to talk about today is how do we support our students and our startups beyond their normal programs. One thing that many universities do, and they teach entrepreneurship. We have many programs around the world will include an entrepreneurship course. And we believe this is an issue because it's very difficult to teach entrepreneurship only from the theory point of view. So we've embedded entrepreneurship in a number of courses, a number of programs, and that's an ongoing work. Not all of our programs have entrepreneurship, and this is something we're building slowly. But we do not have an entrepreneurship course per se, because we want to teach for entrepreneurship as opposed to teaching entrepreneurship itself. So many of our courses take the role of the shape of a project where students and eventually graduates can build on that project to become startups. And as I said, this is ongoing work. So the shape it takes very quickly, and that's one of the issues of universities. We're divided into schools, into a number of programs, and the heads of schools like their program. It's very difficult to change their program. They want to be in control, obviously. And so we integrate courses into the programs, but very quickly we can see that the entrepreneurship courses work in silos. And we can see those lines being created between the different courses. So to avoid that problem, we get in touch with the heads of school to make sure that there is links between the different courses, and we can identify where students can help each other. What I'm responsible for now is the Innovation Center. We see this as being the gate, the exit gate for our students when they have good projects to be able to create startups. Unfortunately, a lot of the work that our students do generally ends up in cardboard boxes. We've all experienced this before, and we want to alleviate that problem. The idea here is that when we've identified talent, when we've identified good ideas, we want to bring them forward past the graduation stage. So we identify those ideas, we identify that talent early on, sometimes as early as first year, and we bring them into the Innovation Center. Our view of our Innovation Center being based on campus is that we're only a stepping stone to the rest of the ecosystem. Our graduation of the Innovation Center should be to be able to apply to the accelerator programs, to be able to go into King, into Spring Studios that you've seen this morning and others, and be able to grow their startup further. The problem we've faced in the past when we didn't have the Innovation Center was that the student work was too early. It was not ready, not mature enough to reach those accelerator programs. They were competing on a pitch, like we talked this morning with Ms. Maha, and their pitch was not good enough because they were not mature enough. So what we want to do in the Innovation Center is to help them grow into a point where they can compete with other startups. So how does it all work? So we've gone from the mission, and I'm going to go into more and more details to see what we actually do. Essentially, we put the startup in the center of the support structure. So we provide them with hosting, with resources, with some funding wherever available. We help them apply to funding. We provide them with mentors. There was a discussion this morning how difficult it is to find mentors. And because of the last few years, we've had a lot of experience with industry at the Polytechnic. We work very closely with industry. So we have a lot of baggage there that our mentors, our industry mentors that we've worked with before are quite happy to come back to Polytechnic and help us. So a lot of the mentors will. And around this, we've put a support structure with some of our final year students. They come from marketing, from management major, they come from visual design, from web design. They have a lot of experience in other fields than our startup founders. Most of our founders come from the tech background, engineering, some from the business as well, but they have a need to learn how to run their startup, the business side, which is what's important in the final mission. So we use the final year students as associate consultants to the founding team, and they work together. Eventually, what happens is that the founding team realize that those different actors are very, very useful to their company, and they integrate them into the company. And what I want to talk about more specifically is the startup program that we have. So we've identified three main components. One being how to pitch. And it's not just about the communication aspect, but it's building the pitch deck, which requires a lot of information behind the pitch deck before they can actually create that pitch deck. We've looked at a follow-up startup program to bridge the gap between what we teach them at university and in the Innovation Center and be able to go into an accelerator. And that includes a lot of content around team building, around HR, around the product development, how to grow, how to expand. And finally, we've built a startup mentoring program where we have internal and external mentors to be able to follow the startups on a weekly basis throughout their growth. So we have a lot of emphasis on the early mentoring for the year where they're with us, and then making sure that they can build and bring those mentors as advisors to their companies. The Learn to Pitch program is built around a set of seminars as well as practice pitches. We've realized that they need a lot of time practicing on their pitch, and they need a lot of feedback. So we teach them what are the different components of the pitch. All the seminars are built around the 6 steps of a pitch deck, and they're all linked with practical activities. But this is not an academic program. Where a few of our academics are involved in that program, but only if they have entrepreneurship experience themselves. So we bring external providers that have that entrepreneurship experience, because we don't want an academic program where again we go back into teaching only entrepreneurship as opposed to teaching for entrepreneurship. So there's a number of set of activities with this, but the goal is to give them an understanding of what they're missing and supporting them to build the structures. The practice pitch nights are essentially pitches in the same format that our local accelerators work with. So 7 minutes pitch plus 7 minutes of feedback by a panel of investors, angel investors, and people who are already involved in the different programs with accelerators, and I'm not understanding. And so, as I said, we're building all of that program around the startup pitch deck. So it's the normal pitch deck. We don't force them to follow those 6 steps, but our program is built around those 6 steps. Some accelerators advise other steps, but the introduction, the current state of affair, talking about their product, like the startups have done just before my presentation, the marketing aspect, which is crucial to be able to sell themselves, the team, and why would we invest in that particular company, and of course the ask, which seems to be an easy number to give, but it needs to be backed up by a lot of financials, and that's what we're working behind the scene to be able to not only have the pitch deck, but have all of the documentation behind that pitch deck. And overall, what happens is that full program. We've been doing this now since the start of September with 10 companies, and there are 10 graduate companies that are supported by a number of teams from the different programs, and we're building towards pitch with the Bahrain Chamber of Commerce, supported by Tamkin at the end of December. And the idea is that they can then start pitching to the different accelerators and go on, hopefully, to be as successful as the 3 companies we've just seen before. I'm here to present because I want your feedback, I want your questions, I want to be able to discuss that with you, for us to also be able to grow. As I said at the beginning of the presentation, we see ourselves as a startup, and we want to be able to evolve and grow ourselves and to be able to support our students and our graduates in the best possible way. Thank you very much for listening to the presentation, and I hope we'll get to see all of you at the Innovation Center on Campus B at Bahrain Polytechnic Innovation Center.
Thank you so much, Dr. Philippe.